What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Cover 2 with B Woo and Earl Knows It All. As you can see, I'm riding solo today. We had to put B Woo on injured reserves, but he'll be back next week for next week's episode. But we still got a jam-packed show for you, man. So I want y'all to lock in, kind of see exactly what we got going on with this week in the NFL. Of course, the big story of the NFL this week, and it's kind of sad. I don't even want to really show any video of this, but Tua, of course, star quarterback for the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, on Thursday night, right before the second quarter. Right before halftime, was injured. Suffered a head and neck injury when he was slammed to the ground by a defensive lineman on the Cincinnati Bengals. Clean play. Of course, Tua last Sunday suffered an injury that they said was a back injury. As the reports came out, but to the naked eye and to anyone that's watched football and watched sports for a long time, looks like Tua suffered a concussion against the Buffalo Bills. He was stumbling, he was punch drunk, didn't really know kind of where he was, and finally kind of got helped to the sideline, left the game. Wound up coming back in that game. They said he passed all the concussion protocols, which is crazy, but he finished out that game and helped Miami remain undefeated. And they actually beat Buffalo. And then, of course, 4 days later, man, quick turnaround, the Thursday night game. And Tua's back in there in the starting lineup. And, of course, the unfortunate injury happens to him where he's out. He's conscious, but he's out on the ground and, for probably over 5 to 10 minutes somewhere in there. I didn't really time it, but I was watching the game with my son, and he's 3 years old. He knew something was wrong when he saw him getting carted off, and he was concerned. So, it's crazy, man. I know the NFL's mantra is next man up, and we kind of look at these guys like gladiators and warriors, but they're human beings, man, and they got lives that they have to live after football, and you kind of got to start taking that into account. And I know these young guys want to kind of prove themselves, especially with the situation that Tua was in, where they already were trying to get rid of him. They were trying to bring Tom Brady in to replace him. They wound up, his former coach didn't like him. He's now with a coach who believes in him. He's got weapons around him, and Waddle, a guy that he played college ball with, and of course the cheetah Tyreek Hill, one of the best receivers in the league. So he wants to be on the field, man, and kind of help his team win and cement himself as the face of that franchise. But at what cost? At some point, you got to say, man, is it worth it? You're making a lot of money, but if you're not able to enjoy that money, and if you got head trauma, and you're a vegetable 20 years from now, or worse, you get CTE, and a lot of these guys are committing suicide, or just they got these crazy mood swings, just kind of based on the trauma that they go through from playing football, which is not a natural thing for your body to go through, and especially getting hit in the head like that is not a natural thing, and continuously. And then, like I said, to kind of suffer those kind of injuries on back-to-back weeks is kind of scary. And like I said, I know I was afraid when you see the close-up and see his fingers and how his hands are just twitching from the nerve damage that I guess they said it wasn't any nerve damage, thankfully, but from what appeared to be possible nerve damage. And just a scary situation all the way around, man. Tua, of course, did end up flying back home with the team the next day, and he was in a neck brace, so they did release him from the hospital in Cincinnati. I think he went to the University of Cincinnati's hospital, and he was sent home, back to Miami with the team. Of course, we're going to keep you guys up to date on any news, but I don't foresee, and hopefully for his sake, it's bigger than football, that he doesn't step back onto the football field until he is for sure 100% ready to play, and not even play, but just function, man, because that was a scary scene to see, definitely. So, again, man, like you said, we think these guys are gladiators, and of course, I'm doing a podcast about football because I love football, but some things are bigger than the game, man, and, somebody's health, and like I said, that's someone's son or brother or sister, or I don't know if Tua has kids, but, someone's father possibly. So you got to take all those things into account and, think about the human being, man. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's a game that they're playing, and, it's not necessarily, saving anybody's life, or it's not a life or death matter, but it can be, because people can have serious injuries, man, and that was just hopefully a situation that will be avoided going forward. And all prayers and thoughts are with Tua and his family and everyone in that Dolphins organization as they try to get him back to health. All right, so we're gonna get into some fun news, man, or what I would consider fun news. We got the serious stuff out of the way, man. Like I said again, prayers up for Tua and his family. Of course, our next story involves the hated New Orleans Aints. Yes, I called them the Aints. I refuse to call them the Saints. They are traveling overseas with Jameis. He's gonna eat some W's. Not tonight, not this week, against the Minnesota Vikings. They'll be playing in London. So the London games are kicking off. I have a game in London this week. Of course, it's 9:30 Eastern time. So right after you watch this, you can click over, check out the Vikings and watch them beat the Saints. I'm predicting that right now. Stay tuned for my pick six later. You'll hear that again. But yeah, the Saints will be taking on the Vikings over in London, and I'm predicting a very bad day for the Saints, as what usually happens with them, man. I think Jameis has been ruled out for that game. He's been dealing with some injuries. Michael Thomas is also out for the Saints as well. Alvin Kamara might as well be out because he hasn't shown up this season. And hopefully my guy Justin Jefferson shows up, man. He's been getting kind of double and triple team, which is helping Thielen and helping the other guys that got on that team. But I got Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team, so I need more than a couple catches and 14 to 15 yards, man. I need some I need some points on the board, man. So hopefully the Vikings will come through as I predict and handle the Aints, man, and bring a victory back home. I heard Justin Jefferson doing an interview with NFL Network, and he said, they traveled over a little bit later, but it was like an 11-hour flight. He said, we didn't take this long flight to come over here to lose, so that warmed my heart that they're ready to beat the Saints. I think the Saints will have what's the red bandit or the red rocket starting at quarterback for them this week. So we'll see how that goes. But no Jameis, and like I said, it'll probably be a loss for the Saints, man. The next thing that we're gonna get to are the hottest team in the NFC, man, and they're looking really good. You may have saw I did a short little report on the MVP odds earlier this week. And Jalen Hurts, the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, is currently second in MVP odds, and he's looking real good, man.
We know when we control the things we can, we damn good. Damn good.
And it was a make-or-break season, they said, for Jalen Hurts, man. They've been trying to do everything they can to make sure that he isn't the quarterback, but this guy, man, he perseveres, man. He did it at Alabama. They took his job from him, man. All he did was win at Alabama. Went over to Oklahoma, won there. Never got a chance to win the championship. Well, I guess he was on a championship team in Alabama, but they, like I said, took his starting job. But me being a Georgia Bulldog fan, I know for sure Alabama wouldn't have won that title without him when he came in to save the day for the Alabama team. So for the Crimson Tide, but yeah, this guy Jalen Hurts, man, I'm happy for him. I'm not rooting against him. I'm rooting for him. I'm not really an Eagles fan, but it's just a great story to see how he's come out. He's putting up 300-yard passing games, man. He's got some good receivers around him. Again, he's connected with one of his college teammates as well that they got there in Philly, Heisman Trophy winner, former Heisman Trophy winner, and they also picked up A.J. Brown, and it's making that offense look pretty good, man. They got a three-headed monster with great tight end as well. And Hurts, man, he's just kind of dishing the ball around. He's running it. He's doing a little bit of everything. The Eagles look very tough, and for my money, man, I would say they probably the team to beat in the NFC. Like, you got the Cowboys, they never do nothing. Green Bay, I guess, is trying to right the ship. They won a couple games in a row since losing that opener, but they haven't looked very impressive. Tampa Bay just lost to Green Bay. Tom Brady and company don't look too impressive. Good defense, but, I mean, they haven't really been hitting on all cylinders either. And I know they had some weapons out, but Philly looks like they are, the top of the class or cream of the crop or whatever term you want to put on it right now in the NFC, man. So if you're betting, I would say, now, it's time to buy low on the Eagles, man. And maybe, I guess it's probably high now. They may have the best odds to win the NFC at this point. So they're looking very good, man. They're like a great team. A team that is struggling, however, although they have some victories. The boy Russ, he said he wanted to cook, man. He ain't really cooking up nothing too good right now. It's a stinky meal is what he's cooking. him and Hackett, they got off to that bad start against Seattle on Monday night, took a L. They won the last 2 games, but, I mean, they beat Jimmy G and San Fran. Jimmy G running out of bounds, getting safeties, and 11-10, almost baseball-type score, man. So, I'm sure, even like I said, Eli threw a little shot at Russ, saying maybe the Broncos should have paid $200 million to that punter because they've been giving them a lot of work, and Russ ain't really been doing it. But Russ always, a classy guy. He, kind of took it on the chin and just said, hey, that's Eli. I'm 2-0 against Eli. He didn't really go in like he could have because, he beat Peyton and blew them out in the Super Bowl too. So he done kind of own the Man and Brothers, but it ain't looking good for him right now, man. So will they right the ship? Part of the reason he said he wanted to leave Seattle was that he wanted to cook, as he said. So let Russ cook. That was the thing, right? He ain't cooking too good right now, though, man. And I think it's probably going to be tough for them to kind of get rolling. I think they got the Raiders this week. The Raiders are 0-3, so they're going to be a desperate team. Devonte Adams is looking to kind of get rolling. Carr is looking to get rolling. So Denver, the division is up for grabs because the Chargers got an injury at quarterback, and Chargers always are like 8-8, or I guess 8-9 or 9-8, whatever you want to call it now, with the extra game. And the Chiefs are looking like they may feel the effects of losing Tyreek Hill. They're 2-1. They lost to the Colts, which we'll get into later. It was part of why I'm wearing my quarterback's jersey today. But yeah, man, I think the Broncos got a chance to do something. The defense has been pretty good, and that division looks wide open, but we'll stay tuned to see if Russ is going to, quote-unquote, cook. And speaking of my attire today, I told y'all on the first show, as quickly as I jump on the bandwagon, I will jump off. But this week, y'all see it. I got the Falcons hat on. I got my jersey on. It's a Matt Ryan jersey, by the way, too, in case you were wondering. Because we're going to celebrate 2 things this week, man. The Falcons, and I got to give him the proper due. Cordell Patterson, man. That man is a beast. He's been a godsend to the Falcons. He won Offensive Player of the Week this week in the NFL and NFC Offensive Player of the Week, and helped lead the Falcons to a victory over the Seattle Seahawks. So, B-Woo ain't here to talk junk. I don't know your name, whoever the Seahawks fan was. I should have asked B-Woo, but yeah, I know y'all was talking smack in the comments and getting at him because he said the Falcons would go to Seattle and that'll be their first win. And lo and behold, man, they got their first victory in Seattle. They probably should be at least 2-1, but, we ain't going to cry over spilled milk, man. We'll take the victory we got. And it was a big win. I had an opportunity to actually go out and watch the game, which I try not to watch Falcons games amongst the public because, they work my nerves. But it was enjoying some time with the family, and, man, the Falcons pulled that thing out. It was touch and go. Mariota always kind of makes a mistake at the wrong time. Not that it's ever a good time to make a mistake, but he had a big fumble, but the defense held on, man, made a play. Geno threw an interception, and the Falcons wound up holding on and getting the victory. So shout out to the Falcons, to the Birds, man, the Dirty Birds, whatever you want to call them, for getting their first victory. I'm with y'all this week, baby. And stay tuned to the Pick 6. I got something for y'all, too. I'm still riding with them, man. And also, as I said I was going to go 6-0, speaking of Pick 6 in the Pick 6 last week, I did not go 6-0 because against my better judgment, I bet against my quarterback, Matt Ryan, man. Matt Ryan, he went on and pulled it out last week, a come-from-behind victory against the Kansas City Chiefs. A very unexpected win, man. I thought that was that was the first game I picked. I said, oh, no, Colts look bad. They ain't won a game yet. They struggled with the Texans. They look horrible against Jacksonville. And, it's a wrap, man. Kansas City, they're going to beat them. However, Matt Ryan, pulled himself up off the mat. Him and his ice cubes, or, whatever you want to call it, cojones, drove down the field to win the game late. And, man, the Colts pulled off a come-from-behind victory against the Chiefs. So, pretty amazing thing there, man, to get a Falcons win. And a lot of some Falcon fans weren't happy to see Matt Ryan go. So, we keeping a little eye on what's going on up there in Indianapolis, and they got their first victory of the season, so that was a big deal there. And again, man, I just want to shout out my Falcons for going out to Seattle, and take care of business, man. Take that. So that's our blitz for this week, man. We're gonna get into the pick six. We're gonna get into what's your fantasy right after this. And welcome back to Cover Two. We're gonna get right into what's your fantasy and get our fantasy player picks of last week for week 3. Our top quarterback for last week was a guy that, again, I'm going to say it, Baltimore Ravens, pay the man. Lamar Jackson, he put up 39 fantasy points, had 4 passing TDs, about 218 passing yards. He also had 107 rushing yards and added another rushing TD as well. He's a bad man, and that price is going up every single week that the Baltimore Ravens don't pay him. So hopefully, man, stay healthy. God, please keep the boy healthy. Let him get his money. The Baltimore Ravens are depending on him first and foremost. And like I said, the Ravens, they're like my second team, man. So I always keep an eye on them and say, hey, kind of see how they doing. And Lamar Jackson looking like he's going to have a second MVP trophy very, very soon the way he's playing right now. He's leading the league in touchdown passes with 10 through the first 3 weeks, and another big fantasy week for him. Honorable mention, and like I said, I had to show him some love earlier as well. Jalen Hurts had another big game. He scored over 24 fantasy points in all 3 weeks. He had 27 this week, past week, against the Washington Commanders, and another solid performance from him. And like I said, he shot up the second best odds right now for MVP. So Jalen Hurts is doing his thing, man. NFC leading Philadelphia Eagles, man. They're looking real good right now. Our top running back last week was Khalil Herbert of the Chicago Bears. He rushed for over 150 yards and 2 TDs and put up 29 fantasy points. He was out there rocking and rolling, man. Helped the Bears get their second victory of the season. Bears their offense is a little touch and go too, man. And I like Justin Fields a lot, man. So it's good to see him have a running back that kind of can support him, as he kind of gets things figured out and they get the offense figured out on that side. So good week for him. I would be remiss if I did not mention my guy CP, Cordell Patterson of the Falcons, man. He's my honorable mention. I don't got him on my fantasy team, but, he a Falcon, so I got to show him some love, man. He had 21 fantasy points, and as I stated earlier, was the offensive player of the week. So shout out to CP. Keep doing your thing, man. We need you to show up big against the Browns this week as well. And our top fantasy wide receiver went to Devonte Smith. I showed him some love earlier. It's in the show as well. That big 3-headed monster that they got out there, man, with the tight end for the Eagles. You got Devonte Smith, who put up 24 fantasy points on the outside, along with A.J. Brown. The Eagles look tough, man. I'm not an Eagles fan. Like I said, I'm showing them a lot of love because they look like the cream of the crop right now in the NFC, man. So those are our fantasy players, man. My fantasy team took a victory this week, man. I was surprised that we did. It came down to Monday night for me, and Saquon Barkley came through for me, man. They lost the game, but I won mine. So shout out to Saquon for giving me enough points to get me over the hump. I'm 2-1. We'll follow up with B Woo and see exactly what his fantasy team is doing, man. And comment below, man. Let us know who on your fantasy team, made your day or ruined your day, man. Better yet, fantasy, it can be tough out there sometimes, man. Like I said, Justin Jefferson is one of my top players. Tyreek Hill is one of my top players, man. And he balled out last week for me, but this week it looked a little tough, with him losing Tua and then Teddy Bridgewater coming in. So we're going to see how I do this week, man. I'll keep you guys posted. And like I said, we'll follow back up with B Woo too and see how his teams are doing, man. So stay tuned for more Cover 2 after this. And welcome back with our pick 6 picks of the week. Again, B Woo is not with us today, but he did send his picks in to me. I'm going to let him go last this time since I'm here. We're going to let y'all see this undefeated week that I'm about to have, man. My first game, I got the Green Bay Packers over the New England Patriots. I will never pick the Patriots. I'm sorry, I just don't like them, man. I have my Falcons, you see it, over the Browns this week, man. We about to start a win streak, 2-0, 2 in a row, right? I got the Steelers over the Jets. I have the Vikings over the Saints again. If you were following with us, I will never pick the Saints ever, ever, ever. So Vikings over the Saints, overseas over in London. I got Pat Mahomes, the bad man, Pat Mahomes, taking out Brady. He's gonna beat Tampa Bay. And last but not least, my upset special. I got the Ravens and Lamar Jackson beating the Bills, man. Now, and to get into B Woo's picks, he chose the Vikings over the Saints as well. I also chose the Packers over the Bucks. These picks are starting to look a lot like mine, man. I think he may have been cheating off my paper, right? We got the Falcons over the Browns. You know, he's a homer. He's going to always ride with the Falcons. The Eagles over the Jags. I stayed away from that game. As much as I've been giving the Eagles love all show, the Jags, man, we may have to, pay attention to them boys down in Duval. I talked crap about them and said we would never talk about them. Jacksonville fans, there you go, man. We got y'all on the show. You're 2-1. Lawrence looks good, but however, B-Woo picks the Eagles over the Jags. He also chose the Chargers over the Texans this week. The Texans, they kind of the bottom of the barrel in the NFL right now. So, good smart pick for B-Woo. And he also chose the bad man, Pat Mahomes, to beat the Bucks as well. Those are our pick 6 picks. You guys comment below. Tell us what you think. Pick your 6. You can pick along with us, man. Let us know what you're doing. Right now in our league, we got a group, of course, like we said, a Facebook group. This week in the NFL, you can always join us as well on there. We have a standings battle, and I'm not faring too well in that right now. I won last year, like I said, but it's still early. So, I think these picks this week going to get me back on track, and I'm coming for the number 1 spot. You guys stay tuned for more Cover 2 with your boy Earl Knows It All right after this. All right, and that leads us into our game of the week, and it's a couple good games this week, man, but the game that we chose was Buffalo Bills taking on the Baltimore Ravens, man. These two teams have met before in the playoffs. They got two of the top quarterbacks in the league, kind of polarizing quarterback competition or battle. You got, Lamar Jackson, who, hey, like I said, pay the man. Baltimore, what are y'all doing? Leading the league in touchdowns, looking like he's going to have another MVP season. And, Josh Allen, man, he's definitely in the fight to be considered the top quarterback in the league as well, amongst guys like Pat Mahomes, of course, as far as the young breed. The older guys like, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are kind of, falling back. And you can throw Justin Herbert in there as well. But this should be a fun matchup, man. Now, Baltimore has some offensive line issues. I think their left tackle has been out. So, thankfully Lamar has some good wheels because Von Miller and those guys are going to be trying to get after him. Von has, started out with 2 sacks, I think, on that open Thursday night. He's been a little quiet, so I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get to the quarterback, man. And that defense, they're pretty stout too. So they're coming off a game that they felt like they should have won. Both of these teams got beaten by the Dolphins, man. Kind of snake bit as their only losses. So it'll be a fun matchup between these two teams, man. Like I said, 2 of the top quarterbacks in the league. Duvernay seems like he's coming along as one of the top targets for Lamar Jackson. And again, Lamar is also, I think, 5th in the league in rushing right now. Like overall, not 5th in quarterbacks, but 5th overall, man. And like I said, he's doing his thing. He's a monster out there. He's running the tab up. They may have to pay this boy baseball numbers when it's all said and done, $400 or $500 million if they keep playing with him. They probably should have paid him right. And of course, Josh Allen has already gotten his money, and he's looking like, the Bills were B-Woo's Super Bowl pick. A lot of people like the Bills as Super Bowl favorites in the AFC. They haven't disappointed. They had that slip up against the Dolphins, but beyond that, man, they've started the season out pretty impressively, handling the Rams and also handling the Titans. So this should be a knockdown, drag-out fight. 2 tough, hard-nosed football teams. I'm looking forward to that game, man. I'm going to lock into it. Of course, I'm going to keep one eye, open to see what my Falcons are doing against the Browns as well. But this is our game of the week. Of course, great football Sunday this week because you get football all day, 9:30, right after you finish watching us, man. Click on over. Go check out. We kept the show short for you this week. We're keeping it within 30 minutes, man, because at 9:30, you guys are going to want to start checking out football. You'll get the Saints taking on the Vikings out in London. After that, you'll get your 1 o'clock games. And, of course, your 4 o'clock slate out on the West Coast. And everything ends with a Sunday night battle between Kansas City and Tampa Bay. And then, of course, you get your Monday night game as well. So it's been another great week for football, man. Again, I want to say prayers to Tua Tagovailoa and his family, man. We're wishing him for a speedy recovery. And, this is a game, man. So we got to keep things in perspective and always remember that these are real human beings out there playing, man. And, they risk their lives every time they step on that field. We may think, hey, it's just a game and a sport that, a lot of us played or enjoyed watching, but it can be dangerous, man. So, people don't like to equate, war and all that stuff with gladiators and say these guys are gladiators, but they are, really modern day gladiators, man. And they bring us a lot of joy, sometimes some misery as well. But, it's a great community of us that love football and want to continue to see it thrive. But, like I said, players got to start kind of looking out for themselves, man, and looking out for each other and making sure that, if you're not, all there, you're not 100%, man, or if you've been dinged or you get a concussion or you got a head injury, you got to sit down, man, and live to play another day, literally play the game of life. So, like I said, again, prayers to Tua. We're looking forward to a great slate. I said I want to keep this one in 30 minutes for y'all so you can get to the Saints and Vikings game, watch the Saints get beat. Take that, Saints fans. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you enjoy what myself and B. Wool are doing, man, tell a friend, tell a hater, tell whoever. Just, tell somebody to click on and watch, man. Like and subscribe. It won't cost you anything, but you'll get some enjoyment out of the great football coverage that we got for you, man. So this is your guy, Earl Knows It All, signing off for another episode of Cover 2, and we will see you guys on the other side. Peace.